Living and Loving Life's podcast is to help people find their balance spiritually, mentally, physically, emotionally, financially, and socially. Listeners will have a positive mindset, renewed outlook for themselves, their future, and believe they are beautifully made inside and out. Listeners will shine and be an example to others as they live fully, completely with no barriers, no burdens, and no regrets.
Welcome back, everybody, to Living and Loving Life podcast with our Motivational Mondays. We have a really fun guest today. I happen to be a guest on her show and enjoyed it so much that I decided, well, we need to have her on our show. So I'm going to welcome this lovely lady, Emily, and I'm going to allow her to introduce herself and tell us a little bit about who she is.
Hello, everybody. My name is Emily, and I am a theta healing practitioner. I'm an alchemy coach and meditation coach. And my passion is in reprogramming the mind to allow you to alchemize your life in the highest and best way.
Awesome. Sounds so cool. Okay, so break a little bit of that down to me. You said a lot of different ones. Okay. One that really stuck out to me, and the reason why is because I do it every morning, is meditation. So is that like a program you teach solely is just on meditation, or is that part of your practice that you incorporate with all your clients?
A little bit of both. So meditation has been the primary, catalyst or beginning first step in creating that new lifestyle change. Okay. And I teach more of an active meditation style rather than passive relaxation. It's more of using meditation to enter into the quantum field, to create your own emotions, to then attach that to a new memory of your reality, allowing you to embody that as your new belief system and reality. So that's kind of how I teach my meditation to both my coaching as well as individual sessions, is using meditation as that tool to allow you to create that reality in which you desire.
Right. Okay, good. So basically, in a sense of like being able to access your subconscious and put things in there, plant seeds that you're trying to manifest or get to, in a sense. So This is a fun topic. So definitely at the end, I'm going to let you explain all of your things and stuff, but me and you are kind of on the same wavelength when it comes to reprogramming. And I say that because I use it with all of my clients. Typically, they'll come to me with something else, but ending up needing to dig deeper into that subconscious and actually do some reprogramming. So when you mention reprogramming, what does that mean to you? And what would that look like for the client?
Yeah. So when we are growing up, especially between the ages of 0 and 7, we are primarily in this brainwave state called theta. And theta is the most malleable part of, or the subconscious, the theta brainwave state is the most malleable part. So everything that we've been absorbing when we were children got stored as these little programs or beliefs about who we are, where we fit in, what is right and wrong in society, and what will allow us to receive the essentials, which is love. Right. So when we have had any sort of traumatic experience, and it doesn't have to be a super big, massive traumatic experience, it could be simply as a younger sibling being born. And therefore that triggered that, well, I'm not receiving the same amount of love as I used to receive. What happens is that then it becomes a program in the mind that I need to do A, B, and C to receive love, or I shouldn't do A, B, and C to receive in order for me to receive love. So the way I reprogram my clients' minds, or have them reprogram their mind, is by re-entering that theta brainwave state. And when you can re-enter it, you allow the access to the subconscious mind, which holds all the archive, which I call an archive or file of all those experiences that were on top of that one bottom program of I am unlovable. Mm-hmm. And through that brainwave state, it's as simple as removing it and replacing it.
Right.
But because you're in that brainwave state and it's the malleable part of the mind, that's what allows you to do the reprogramming that creates a sustainable change.
Mm-hmm. Nice. Right. Mm-hmm. So when you're in that reprogramming stage with the client, what would be like one or two tools that you would give them to, because it's essentially a practice that has to be continued. It's not like when you hit this, then you're pretty much done. This is something that you kind of need to keep working on. So what are like the first basic steps for somebody that's beginning to, because this is a very powerful thing to do, and the more that I'm learning how to tap into it, the more I'm seeing that, there's layers to this. You can get deeper and deeper and deeper, as just like, for me, I feel like there's layers to love. And that's why it's so important to me, because the more you can dig and the deeper you can get within yourself, the deeper you can get into a lot of different things, which is that layer of love, that compassion and kind. So it just takes you into all these different places that you had no idea you could even get to. So what are a couple basic steps to get someone starting to start this reprogramming process with you?
So I just wanted to start off by saying, based on my experience as a theta healing practitioner, in this theta brainwave state, when you do the work from this state, I've been able to observe instant changes in that bottom belief, which is so amazing.
Yeah.
And I totally understand the whole, we need to create those patterns.
Right.
And I always tell my clients, after we've reprogrammed that programming, you're going to experience a change in your awareness of where this bottom belief came up. And that's when you're going to need to do the habitual reprogramming.
Mm-hmm.
But the actual bottom belief can be instantly changed when you do it from this brainwave state, right? When we do it from the beta brainwave state, we're also coming from our survival self, which is telling us, I don't want to change. I like where I am right now because it's in the known. So one of the first steps, is I tell all my clients, is to break those habitual patterns, identify where those habitual patterns are in your life. And it can be as simple as brushing your teeth with your opposite hand. Mm. What happens when you do that is that you're bringing yourself back to the present moment, right? You're stopping yourself from being in this alpha brainwave state where, remember, take for example, if you're driving and you get to your destination and then you say, well, how the heck did I get here? What was I even doing? Right? Yeah. You're in that almost like hypnotic trance-like state.
Autopilot.
Exactly. When we're in that autopilot, we are acting out of what our knowns are, what our survival self, those old programmings are telling us that will keep us safe and keep us feeling that love and that comfort and that good enough and worthy enough. So when you can start to break those habitual patterns by breaking your knowns, such as, I do all my sessions, as you can see right now as we do the podcast, I do mine on the floor. It's not comfortable, but I do it in order to bring me into that present moment, to be aware that, okay, I'm not comfortable, which means I'm not in the known. I'm in the unfamiliar, therefore allowing more awareness and clarity. So that's the first step I always tell my clients, especially after the sessions. And the second one is to start practicing a technique that I do in theta healing to test if the beliefs have been removed, which is called muscle testing. And because we are creatures that we need to see in order to believe, when we don't necessarily see something, especially when we work with the subconscious mind, you can't necessarily see the changes, right? You have to just actually experience it. Mm-hmm. But sometimes it's so much easier to look at, okay, if you reprogrammed, for example, your client's mind to, I am abundant, right? But currently they don't have money.
Right.
Well, they're focusing on the current of what they see, which is no money. Mm-hmm. So when I teach them about muscle testing, it's showing your body, it's almost like a human pendulum, right? So it's swaying yes or no. Mm-hmm. And I have them start to practice using that with simple things such as, is it in my highest and greatest good to have a cup of coffee? If my body sways yes, okay, I'm going to follow that. If my body sways no, I'm not going to follow that. Again, helping them to break those habitual patterns of reaching for a coffee because it's the thing you do in the morning,
right?
Or grabbing a bag of chips because that's what makes you feel safe and comfortable when you've been stressed or had an anxious day. Right. So starting to then also trust yourself and trust what choices and decisions you're making that are actually going to lead to the life you want and allow you to reaffirm that new programming.
Right.
I think that was a lot, but did that make sense?
No, it makes perfect sense. And, it goes with the self-love and confidence, because when you really truly love yourself, you want to do more of the right things. You want to take care of yourself more, not because, I want to look like this for the rest of the world, but because you love and cherish, just like you would for your baby. You want to give them the healthier foods because you want them to have a healthier body or, just be healthier in life. So when you really, really, truly love yourself, you do these things to take care of yourself because it's something that you love and cherish. That's why I think it's so important, especially for us to have this kind of talk, because I'm just trying to show how important this aspect of that self-confidence and love is in every avenue. I don't care who I'm talking to. I don't care if it's a fitness coach. I don't care if it's a mental health coach, if it's organization coach, business coach. It all has to come within you, not outside from anything or anyone else. So when you find what that is for you, then you program it to work for you, not for what has worked for the other people that have shown you from 0 to 7. Does that make sense?
I completely agree. Yeah.
And
it's
that's
what I
the
teach
thing.
my clients too.
Yeah, because I think a lot of times my clients are like, well, this is, my family thing. This is what they taught me, but they're only teaching what they were taught. Nobody's gone against it to say, is this the healthiest way to handle this? Or is this a proper way of doing childbirthing or child care, whatever it is that you don't feel comfortable with, And the unfortunate thing for me was growing up is things that didn't feel right. I had a problem with keeping my mouth closed and just being like, that's fine. I would be like, no, that doesn't look right, or that's not right. And I would be known as the bully or a know-it-all or had too much to say. But now that I'm looking at it, no, these things weren't right. Some things were not okay. The things that were being said or done as children, whatever the case may be, And I'm glad that I stood up, because even if I didn't make that change, it at least planted seeds in adults' heads or other people's heads to look into it. Like, maybe she is correct about something. You know what I mean?
I completely agree.
Yeah.
And through my exploration of either finding my beliefs or working with clients, that bottom belief that everybody has is just they want to feel love.
Yeah. Period.
Right. So anything that will create that threat of not feeling love, that can require, I'm not going to speak my truth. I'm not going to stand up for myself, because if that means that I'm not going to feel love, I'm not going to do it. Right. I'm not going to, or I'm going to do the steps A to B or A to D to start my business because everyone else has done it. And that will allow me to feel love. I'm going to do it regardless if it feels good, regardless if I resonate with it. Because again, until we can find that bottom belief and reprogram it to, you are love without anything,
or anyone's approval or love. You're still content.
Act out of that survival self until you know that you are love and you can love yourself free from anyone, free from anything, and you can create love. Right? That's also a beautiful thing that I teach in my meditations. You can create your own feelings of love. But
like you said, you are love. So I like to use a cell phone because it's really hard for people to grasp the concept until you're in it and you're living it. It's really hard. It's almost as like, it sounds easy, but obtaining it's hard. It's a catch-22. So I use the cell phone. People are always on their cell phone. All they do is talk on the cell phone. But if you don't treat your cell phone right, you don't put it on the charger at night and let it charge up, it will not have 100% battery for you in the morning. Vice versa for yourself. If you don't give yourself the self-care, you don't cherish who you are, figure out things that keep you going, that feed your soul, give you that energy that keeps you moving, you will not be 100. So you won't be 100 to be a good mom. You won't be 100 to be a good dad. You won't be 100 to be a good wife or husband or a good employee. You just don't have it to give. So if it's not there, there's nothing you can do to get yourself there without actually doing the work.
Yeah, I completely agree.
Yeah. Okay. So why is it so easy to stay in fear?
This kind of goes along with what was mentioned earlier, but because it allows us to feel some sort of love in quotations. When we are acting through fear, it's that, and I deal with 4 aspects of self with theta healing. And one of them is the survival self that's holding on to all these old programmings of, I can't speak my truth or I'll be unlovable. Or if I fail, I'm going to be punished, meaning I'm not going to be good enough, meaning I'm going to be unlovable, right? All of these little programmings that keep piling on top of each other. Right. What happens is that because there's so many piles and archives and files of all these other experiences that topped or that was on top of that bottom belief, what happens is that we are actually so unaware of that which we actually fear losing, which is love, being alone, or not good enough, right? So we don't actually realize that we are living out of fear, right? When we think of fear, we think of a spider, or I used to have a phobia of whales, or walking alone in the dark at night. But fear has actually been programmed as a normal thing within us, and we're living out of fear continuously that we don't realize that we actually are living out of fear. And that's a scary thing.
The thing is, you mentioned a really good point there. People don't realize that there's these reprogrammings that need to happen, or like you said, that fear that's blocking them. People don't realize what it is that's in their way. That's why they're stuck in this race of this constant trying to figure it out, because they don't even know it exists. It's like telling a drug addict they need to go to rehab and they don't think they have a problem. You know?
Yeah.
So that's the thing too. When I have clients, they'll come to me and they will be so off base of what they're there for. You know, they'll think it's for something completely different by the end of our sessions, or by the time they've graduated, like I say, it's like, oh, wow, I didn't even know all of these underlying things were causing me to not being safe or comfortable to, you know, speak up for myself or be an advocate for myself, you know. And that's the real sad part is because I feel like everybody is worthy enough to know who they are and speak for themselves and get what they deserve. No one knows what you need unless you speak up.
And so, the default of the subconscious mind is it's just trying to keep us safe, right? Our survival self is just trying to keep us from feeling any of those feelings that are just icky as a kid, right? Whether it was not good enough, unlovable, alone, whatever those little feelings were, that, again, they were psychological threats to us, right? But now it's to the point where as adults, and it's so interesting to observe, but a lot of adults are actually scared to even dip into that past because of what may come out of it, right? It's in doing that work of, and I tell people this all the time before a session, just letting you know, you're probably going to cry because I'm going to reveal to you things that you didn't want to address because it was so scary. But until you do, you are actually stuck in it. It is keeping you where you are right now.
Yeah, that's a good point, because I think people want to just throw it in the closet and slam the door, but you're still going to be stuck in the same cycle until you actually address it. So that's a good point. Absolutely. Okay. So tell me one of the hardest lessons that you've learned during your journey, and do you use that in your day-to-day life now?
I like that question. What is you said hardest lesson or most challenging lesson?
Hard, either way.
Either one. That it's all about me. And I'm not to sound narcissistic, but
absolutely.
That everything is within you. If somebody else says to you that you are not good enough, again, that's my choice to accept it.
Right.
If I don't have that which I desire in my reality, that's because I'm not in that energetic alignment with my desires. Has nothing to do with my external reality, has nothing to do with my parents' beliefs. It's me. If I want to change, it's me doing the work on sitting with myself in meditation until I feel that discomfort, identify that bottom belief that was triggered, and reprogram it. Right. It's me that chooses to accept the emotional poison if somebody else can't act out of their highest and greatest self because they're acting out through fear. Right. Our reality is all created in our own mind. And when I tell people this, sometimes, again, it's a hard thing to grasp, but everything in my external reality is because I thought it. I created it. I was in energetic alignment with it. So if I don't like it, I have only myself to not blame, but take responsibility for that. And that was a hard lesson and a challenging lesson, especially with my childhood, and whatever I experienced in my childhood, that I wanted to say, well, actually, it's because of that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, no, that happened, but I chose to hold on to it and live out of that programming. And that, again, is my choice.
Right. Awesome. So basically taking accountability and doing something about it.
Mm-hmm.
Accountability, I think, is a hard one for a lot of us. And to say that it's not, it's kind of like, no, it is. Because we always want to, it just is. We always want to point the finger, and even with you in your place and doing the work, you still know that that's still a challenge for you. And it's something that you have to remind yourself on a day-to-day to stay focused on. Me, myself as well. All right. So in your opinion, what does it mean to live and love life?
To live in a place where you are the creator of your reality, where you are grateful for everything, when you, again, are able to realize that you are love. And as you said, as challenging as that can be to actually understand and embody, when you can get to the point where you're living through your highest self, when you can see almost like the shadow aspects and the fears and the beliefs of others and still show them kindness, that is what I believe is living through love, right? Living in this space of love, because then you are adding to the conscious collective energy of love, right? If you are suffering and I show you hate, well, then that's not helping me or you. But if I show you love, well, now you feel safe to venture into your own beliefs to allow you to alchemize as well.
Awesome. Yeah, that's awesome. And I love that. And I was just walking the other day, meditating, and that's all I thought to myself was, when you are acting out of love, love is compassion, love is kind, love is patient. So when you have that inside, those are your actions. Those are how you're going to respond to people, regardless of the way they respond to you or not. That's just what space you're in. So that's what you give off, And the weird thing is that I had jury duty yesterday. And this one guy comes in and he has tattoos all over. And my first assumption was like, wow, and then his whole hand is all bloody, like he was cut it up or something. And as I'm going up the stairs, something was like, just tell him that God loves him. And I was like, no, I'm scared. Like, no, I was like, no. But so he walks into the thing. I was like, good, I wasn't supposed to. And he comes back out. And I was like, God. So I walked up to him and I was like, for some reason, I have to say this, God loves you. And he goes, really? And I just walk off because I'm supposed to be in jury duty, and I'm not doing a whole thing. And just having that feeling of, I don't know what, first of all, got his hand cut up, why he's in there, what is going on. But whatever that was, whatever the meant was, is to make me let him know that somebody loves him, that there is love for him. Find it. So you know what I'm saying, where you said, even if that person is being ugly or in an ugly space, my kindness might just be that seed to make them do whatever they're going to do later. I'm not in control of that. I was there to just plant that and move forward, So instead of responding with the judgmental face of you're probably this and you've done this and that and labeling and this and that. No. Because you don't know what their journey looks like. You don't know why they're doing the things they're doing for survival mode or not, So just that act of kindness, people don't realize a smile or you're loved, how far that goes for people. You know what I'm saying?
Over the past 3 months, I've been actually doing an experiment by living through love on myself, right? That was a message that I got from the universe of live through love. Just see how it goes. If it works, great, amazing. If it doesn't, you can go back to what you're used to. And one of the things that I first received the message of, and I've been living through this and teaching all my clients this, and I think it's going to be really helpful for anyone who's listening, is, are you living through love or for love? Right? Are you living through love? In which case, like, you got that message, that wasn't to get anything back from him. If anything, you didn't want to do it.
I did it. I was so like, please don't do this to me.
Right?
Right.
And there's other situations where we act out of, again, our self-limiting beliefs, in which case we're acting for love, to feel loved.
Right.
In which case now that person has power over us. Now we are not going to act out of the highest and best version of ourselves.
Right.
And even that little affirmation mantra that I keep telling myself every single moment that I do want to act for love, that's allowed me to continue to be in alignment with me being love.
Mm-hmm.
And in that space, other people have noticed that and said, well, now I can do the work because Emily didn't get angry at me when I acted out this way.
Yeah.
I guess it's safe. Now let's explore this.
Yeah.
Right. And again, it's that like that little domino effect of when you embody love.
Yeah.
Now you someone else too. And when they embody love, and then that's how we raise the energy of the collective consciousness.
Yeah, that's so funny you say that, because I have a TikTok and it's called Be the Happy Domino. The happy domino that hits someone else that's happy. And then I said, it's like we're dominoes. It just will spread out. Is it going to feel and heal everything in the world? No, but it will be a lighter life, less people wanting to hurt people, more people happy. I think the happier people can be, the less the world is going to be so chaotic, because really the truth is hurt people are the only ones that hurt people. Not happy people are not going out doing bad things. It's the people that are hurting and don't know what to do and that are suffering and don't know where to turn. Those are the people that are lashing out. And this is how it's showing up for them, So that's just my mission.
I love that.
Yeah. So thank you so much. I want you to go ahead and tell the listeners where they can find you. I will also add all of your information to the show notes, but please go ahead and let them know where they could find you.
Yeah, you can find me at my website, which hosts all of my workshops and programs and coaching and theta healing sessions at emspath.com. So EMSPATH.com, as well as Instagram at EMS_path. And as well, if you want to, I'll give you the link for this as well. But for my free weekly cosmic meditation sessions that I host every Thursday, for anybody who wants to join those, I'll have you add the link to that as well.
Awesome. And yes, listeners, like I said, I will add all of her information so you can easily get in contact with her. Thank you so much for coming on and dropping your little jewels. And listeners, thank you so much for tuning in. We love you guys and hope you have an amazing week. And we'll see you back next week for your Motivational Mondays. Thank you.
If you love the Living and Loving Life podcast, we'd love for you to subscribe, rate, and give a review on iTunes. Don't forget to join us next week for another episode. Thank you for listening.